My name is Tristan Manco and I do bits and bobs like graphic design and writing books and teaching and just being interested in the arts. I studied illustration at Wolverhampton University and then settled down for a friend in Bristol, and Bristol's where I stayed throughout the 90s and up until recently. Bristol's been my home base and has influenced what I've done. I got a summer job working for WOMAD festivals, designing their flyers and books, and then it became all the real world music. So I got influenced by music, and I was based at Peter Gabriel's studios, and we got to meet people from all kinds of worlds, from fine artists to animators to designers, and that kind of, it was like doing my degree again and again, just kind of a nice place to meet people and do interesting things. Fell into publishing through being interested in stencil graffiti, and as luck would have it, Bristol's kind of famous for the stencil scene. Around 97, Banksy started doing little stencils around my neighbourhood, and it inspired me to write about that topic and kind of link it to my own travels. So I'd seen stencils during the 80s in Paris and Holland, and I wanted to write a book just about that worldwide scene and connect the 80s with what was going on in the sort of noughties. The curation thing, it's a trendy word now, like everyone's a curator, but basically once you've done a lot of stuff that people recognise as being good, or you get a good reputation, been lucky enough to be asked to curate things. Dismaland was an exciting project that happened this year. I got a kind of a secret whiff of it in February. I heard that something like that might happen, and my part in it is that I was asked to suggest some artists. Those artists, in fact hundreds of artists, kind of suggestions went into the pot, and then some of them got chosen to work with. And then as the festival got closer and closer, I got asked to work on a specific area of the festival, which was what we called the geodome. So it was a geodesic dome filled with protest art from around the world. And the first time I really made a connection with Hull was through a lot of the Bristol graffiti artists. I started to get to know a lot of Bristol graffiti artists around early 90s onwards, and it seemed like Bristol had this pull for graffiti because people had seen it in spray can art, and it was always like a destination. So a lot of the graffiti artists that really, honed their skills had a background from Hull. So there were artists like Eco, Graham Jews, aka Paris, and Zens. They all kind of gravitated towards Bristol and made the Bristol scene the strong thing that it is.
What I enjoy doing is creating experiences for people where, as a VJ, the music becomes better.
My name's Zach Walker, and I'm an installation artist and a VJ. My creative journey started, I guess, when I was quite young, doing photography and just a little bit of art, but I really came to realize that the art that I wanted to do with video happened when I got to Hull. Actually, I started taking a little video course so I could learn how to use the camera as a tripods, but realistically I was just using all their equipment so I could make a movie. I've started by playing DVD players, and doing visuals at a party, which was just a really mellow rock and roll thing with a few DJs. And throughout my journey have worked with education, worked with festivals, worked making music videos. My equipment has changed quite drastically in what I use and how I present the information and the work that I make. And the artists that I've worked with have definitely developed from being a couple of my friends in bands to now working with international DJs, international bands, and a beatboxer quite specifically over the last 3 or 4 years. I started using a camera and then playing video content out to a projector from that camera. Then moved to DVD players, VHS players, using an AV mixer to mix original content with lots of samples that I took from different programming, different iconic and really interesting movies and content and video that I've always enjoyed, to then shooting quite a bit myself of dancing, of quite trippy looking water reflections, of birds flying in the air, quite typical kind of VJ things where it's a bit just aesthetically pleasing things that you see in the world and taking it and then kind of minimizing it into something that's quite cerebral and quite weird and awesome and goes well with music. Some of the most interesting work I've ever done, and the work that I still like to do the most really, is when I get to collaborate with different artists. I've worked with DJ Shadow and Moby and XXYYXX and Apparat and played visuals for Flying Lotus, and that's been experiences where it was almost otherworldly when I got to play with those people, because I've listened to their albums and I've been inspired by their music, and then all of a sudden I'm on, maybe not on stage with them all the time, but I'm on the same level in terms of the performance of it, and that has been incredible. And that's very much in the kind of VJ world. It's been amazing to create the content now where I'm playing things and creating work that no one else has because it's original art. And that's what you get with collaborations, is you get minds coming together to make work that, you really are making something important to yourself and I think significant to the world. That's my favorite thing, and that's what I hope to do the rest of my life, is collaborate. I find more inspiration with that. I always work by myself and have ideas, but those ideas a lot of the time come down to things that I will always be interested in and play with myself for the rest of my life. Where when you collaborate with others, you're really pushing yourself to do things you've never done before. I came to Hull, it's 14 years ago, I think 15 years ago now, and it was off the back of living in Hawaii for a year. So there was a massive difference in the two places. But I met my best friend, and I've worked with so many incredible artists here and had just the most inspiring really experience in this city. There's an ethos of the people in this city that is missed by a lot of people, and that's quite generous, giving, caring people who really make genuine artwork that's significant. I think people here are great, and I think the art that's made here is incredible, and people should be really proud to be from here. When people say, what is Hull, or where is Hull, or even people in England who don't know where it is, I'm always telling them that it's up in Yorkshire, it's next to the Humber, and it's a wonderful place where people are actually really good to each other, and lots of amazing things happen. But I do my best to kind of tout it all around the world wherever I go.
No, it's me. I didn't wear it. Thank you. Just so it. I've got it on good coat.
I recommend you have the one in first.
I know. 7 years, a bit